Good morning and welcome to another Brewer's Friend how-to video. Today I'm going to show you how to add inventory, edit inventory, and the effects of changing inventory on your recipes. What we have here in front of you, I decided to bring up a winter pick because it's been hot lately and I could use something to remind me of the cold. This beer, however, is probably best suited for the summertime, like right about now. This is a blonde ale that I make. It's a fan favorite. A lot of folks love it. It's had many different names, but right now we just call it the blonde ale. It uses Nottingham ale yeast, which, as you can see, drops nice and clear, especially if you're using like a RIMS or HERM system that does constant recirculation. I'm using an all-in-one system that does that, and that really does help with clarity. But you can see here, nice blonde ale, wintertime. I hope you folks are staying cool in one way or another these days. So let's go to the inventory. If I go to my brewing and I click on my inventory right here, it'll bring up said page like so. And depending on how long you've been brewing and if you've been utilizing this feature, you'll either have a whole lot of nothing here or a whole lot of something here. You can see I have a whole lot of fermentables and quite a few choices for hops. And if you look down, I don't have a whole lot of choices for yeast. I actually just added this one today. And I'm going to show you right now how to add to your inventory, and I'm going to add a yeast. So if you click add inventory, you'll see that one of the first things that you have at the top here is the category. You have fermentable, custom fermentable. That would be something that's not in their wheelhouse yet that you need to add. Hops, yeast, other, and equipment. So if you wanted to keep track of the cost of your brewery and each piece of equipment you buy, and you're into that sort of thing, you can feel free to. For me, I just try to keep track of what I have on hand for ingredients. So I'm going to go ahead and add a yeast. I'm going to search by brand. So I'm going to go ahead and add that Nottingham, which is made by L'Allemande and Danstar. I'm still unsure about this name. I've been trying to do some research on it lately, but certainly L'Allemande is the brand name, and Danstar is always associated on a lot of their yeasts. And I found, though, by looking, if I want to find Nottingham or Windsor Ale yeast or some of their other more common ones, I have to type in, or I have to use Danstar versus clicking on L'Allemande. So, Nottingham Ale yeast. You look here, you have a couple of different options. I have 4 packs of this that I got for a total price of $13.56, oddly enough. And that's going to give me a unit price, if I convert, of $3.39 each for each pack. Basement Brewery. So you could choose a location. Mine always pops out Basement Brewery because that's just what I put in for a name. I could change the location. I could put Fridge in my Basement Brewery. Just whatever you want to put for a location there. Now, for a date, if you go over this little question mark, a lot of liquid ale yeast, or a lot of liquid yeast, excuse me, give you a manufacture date, and then you typically know that it expires 6 months roughly after that, or each month after that it degrades a bit. So in this case, dry yeast does not do that, so I'm going to put expiration, so EX. In this case, these expire on 6/21. And you can see it puts in a lot of the other aforementioned things on its own. I can't click in these fields because it already knows it. It knows that it's a dry ale yeast. It knows that it's ale, not lager, and all of the other features of the yeast. I can click save, and that'll now pop up in my brewery or in my inventory. I could do the same again. I have another lot of Nottingham ale yeast that has a different expiration date, and coincidentally enough, also has a slightly separate cost associated with it. Very close, but in this case, I think a little bit cheaper. So I'm going to put it in again. Nottingham ale yeast. I just so happen to also have 4 packs of this at a total price of or in this case, actually, it would be a unit price. I know the unit price versus what the total was. So I could put in the unit price, and it'll give me a total price. So $3.59 each, Basement Brewery. And then this lot expires, so I put in EX for expires, 9/21. And I'll click save. Boom. All right. Now, you can see that I have a lot of things in here that I added way before I thought about adding cost, or it might even been before they offered the feature to do cost. So one thing I want to show you, you've seen how to add. It's literally that simple. There are some things here that you can do to change the way that your stuff is listed. So I could list it by a unit, how much I have of things, what's location, last updated. That's just kind of handy for sorting the way yours is listed. You can also filter your inventory by searching yeast or Nottingham or two-row or whatever you're looking for. And then this feature here is nice too. You can actually get recipe suggestions based on what you have in your inventory, which is very handy. Now, if I go, you also have this feature, which is nice because there's sometimes that you will run out of an inventory, but it stays in here in case you buy it again and you want to just put in. You don't have to do anything. You just edit it, and then you can update how much you have on hand. But if you don't want to see it, you can click hide zero amounts, and then the amount here it'll take away anything that's zero. Forgive me for that. So what I want to show you though is kind of how inventory plays a role in your recipes. You can see here I so far have a unit cost of $2.12 because I have two things that actually have costs associated with them. Now I have these hops, Mount Rainier hops and Phoenix hops, and I happen to know the cost of these. I just never put them in, so they never got associated with a cost here. And I just wanted to just show you how you could do that. You could actually add a cost right here in your inventory, or excuse me, right here in your recipe. So if I know everything in mine is listed in grams, but I'm in the US, so I buy everything in the ounce. So if I go to this first one, my Mount Rainier's, literally when I added it, you see I bought this in a large bulk. It was, I think I bought a pound of it for like 14 bucks or something, and it comes out to like 88 cents a pound, or excuse me, 88 cents an ounce. So I can add that right to it, and it's going to adjust my cost. And if I hover over it, it'll tell me, hey, that's 31 cents of hops. Now my Phoenix hops I bought in the 1 ounce packets from a local homebrew shop. So obviously I'm going to pay more money for that. So if I click to add a cost here and I go by the ounce, the Phoenix hops cost me $2.59 a pack, which is 1 ounce packs. So then I can go down here to each of these locations where I have Phoenix hops and do the same thing. And then my Mount Rainier, we know, I don't know it by the cost per gram, I know it by the cost per ounce. And again, 88 cents. And if I do that one more time, I'll get a pretty accurate price on not everything so far, but most things. So, save. Let's see. Right now I know that hops total, I've got about $3 worth of hops in there. Grains total, I got about $2.12. My total cost right now is $5.09. If I click save, do that, and then I can add a cost here for the Nottingham. It hasn't come through yet. Oh, sorry, that doesn't give me that. Right here. So each, we're going to say I'm going to use the ones that expire first. So those were $3.39 each. If I click save, you're going to see I'm going to get a total cost there of $6.78, the most expensive thing yet. So far, a pretty cheap recipe. I want to show you one last thing. I don't want this video to be too long, but I'm already over 10 minutes. But I want to show you what happens when you go through and you add something. So I got German Vienna malt here. If I go into my inventory and I find my Vienna malt, boom, I've got 23 pounds left. This is something where it's a little tricky. If I go in here and I try to add the cost, so I get these in like the 50-pound sacks, and they're usually about 60 to 65 bucks from my local store where I order it from. If I were to convert that now, it's going to convert based on this number. So I might have to do a little math here first, because I didn't pay $2.76 a pound. So if I go ahead and take 50 pounds, okay, and divide it by, oops, I might be doing this backwards here, sorry. Let's try again. $65 divided by 50 pounds. I'm going to get, that's 600, sorry, 65 divided by 50 equals $1.30 a pound. So I can do this backwards here. It could actually show me how much I have left on hand cost-wise. $1.30. I've got $30 worth of grain left there. Now, if I save this, and it'll update that price here in my inventory, it's going to reload, and then I go here, and I reload my recipe. Hopefully it does this. It should update this little green dot here. I could have done it the same way I did the other ones. I could have done the math and then just punched in my number on the fermentable. But I wanted to show you that if you went and updated your inventory, it'll update your recipe. You can see here I now have a little green dot. I've used 4 kg of that, so it's about 8 pounds. So that's $11.46 at $1.30 a pound. And you can see now I have $13 worth of grain. So my recipe is pretty much up to date cost-wise. And if we look at it, I'm under 25 bucks for 5 gallons or 5.5 gallons of beer. So I hope that you found this helpful. I hope you see the benefits of putting in the cost of or entering your inventory, because then anytime you click here to change anything, the first thing that's going to come up is all the stuff you have in your inventory. That's handy. It also, you can see my cost just changed because I changed the Amarillo hops. But you can also see the benefits of finding out how much each of your different recipes cost to make. So a pretty handy tool, definitely nice to have, and definitely a solid addition to Brewer's Friend. It's been here for a while now. I have been using it, but not as fully as I want to. So, and maybe you've been the same way, and now you'll see why maybe you should update. It's kind of nice to know the things you have on hand. And when you brew, if I were to click brew and I brewed this recipe, it would subtract all of those ingredients from my inventory. It'll actually give you an option to do that. And it'll show you, it'll also say, hey, there are some things that aren't listed in your inventory. So certainly a cool feature. Definitely nice to have. That's why you see a lot of my Vienna malts or my Munich malt at the lower numbers. Instead of 50 pounds, I only have 23 pounds left. It's a good way for me to keep track of what I got on hand and when I need to order more. Anyway, I hope this has been beneficial, and I'll see you in the next video.